All right, good morning, everyone. Futures Brizio here. We are live. It is 8:45 a.m. on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. Hope everybody's doing well. And like I said, we are live. Just going to jump in here and do a quick morning market update. I know I don't get in here too much in the morning, so I figured I would try to do that today, especially since it's fairly quiet right now, especially in Forex. And so if you do jump into the live stream, make sure you jump in and say hello, ask any questions or comments. And of course, if you're watching it on the channel later in the recording, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. And, again, any questions or comments, just leave them in there and I will personally get back to you. All right, so let's just jump into this. We'll start with Forex. And let's look at our currency indexes first. So this is the hourly. And again, we've got the Euro currency index on the left here in red, the US dollar in green here in the middle, and then the Swiss franc over on the right in blue. And this is the hourly chart. And you can see what we've got going here. No, actually, we've got the 15-minute here on Euro. So let's change that to the hourly chart. So we see we've got the Euro pulling back a little bit. When we get to the live chart, we'll see. This is interesting whether we're going to see a turn to the downside in the euro, because you can see on the index, right, we clearly were trending up. We had this pullback here, and then we went up, failed to make a new high. Now this is only a 1 hour chart, so I don't put as much weight into this as I do the longer time frames, but it is interesting. The US dollar one, on the other hand, we have rallied off these lows, and at least at the moment have taken out this swing high right here. So again, we've got the euro trending down right now, or at least leaning down. The US dollar up, and the Swiss franc here on the right, clearly in an uptrend. Had this pullback, now appears to be moving higher again. We'll see if we can go up and make new highs, but it does look pretty bullish type of scenario. So with that in mind, if we jump over to the actual charts, here's the US dollar Swiss, and you can see it's pretty much not doing anything right now. It clearly was trending down. We've been trending down. We had this last swing right here. Price went down. It has not made a new low yet, obviously. And so if this turns out to be a higher low and we start moving higher, then that would definitely signal a change in direction if we fail to make a new low here. And again, the reason why we're not seeing that move down right now is because the dollar is strengthening and the euro is flat at best. And so that's causing this pair to kind of just sit there and not do anything. Because again, the dollar, at least right now, is pushing higher, and the euro has been bullish, but it's pretty flat right now. Okay, so we're not really seeing much on this pair right now, which is why it's just kind of sitting here doing nothing. So, and that again is why I like using those currency indexes, because it allows you to see each currency separately and be able to kind of just analyze what they're doing separately, which will tell you, why the currency pair is either moving or not moving. So if we move on to the euro, so on the euro, again, this is the opposite of basically the US dollar Swiss. So on the euro, again, we have a flat euro to maybe down a little bit and a strengthening dollar. So if we go out to the daily chart, we did come up and hit this yellow line that I've had drawn on the chart. I talked about this in last night's market wrap video. So we have come up and tagged this. Now, it doesn't mean, again, that we're going to reverse and now head lower, but clearly this is an area with this swing high, with this being a daily swing over here, that a lot of traders were watching. So naturally, at this point, there's a lot of profit taking for people that were long. There were people that want to go short, that are trying to sell the top here, thinking that this is going to be the top and it'll head lower. And so because of that, if we go to a lower time frame, we can see the market is pulled back off of this. Once it touched this zone, the market is pulled back off of there. Now, interesting thing to note is on the 1 hour chart, if we go down to it, we had this little 1 hour zone right here. Okay, and then price pulled back right here, went up. And this is the candle that tagged this, that daily. Here's that daily structure. That's the line on the daily chart. So this was what, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 hours ago that we hit this. Okay, so it was during the London session that we ran up and tagged this high. Now we've pulled back again, and we are now back to this zone. You can see it tried to move lower. It's wicked through here and now come back. So essentially for me, I'm not doing anything with the euro until either we continue to break through. If we pull back and break above this swing high right here, we have this swing high that, again, the one that was put in 5 or 6 hours ago. We have this swing high right here. If this gets taken out to the upside, in other words, we on a shorter time frame, we get bullish momentum come back in, we break higher, take out this wick, then I think I'd certainly be interested in long positions, and price will probably continue up and reach for this next zone way up here, which is quite a bit of far away. I mean, from where it is now, that's about 285 pips away. Okay, because this is the daily chart again. All right, so, and then in terms of whether of going short, well, to be honest, it depends what your time frame is for trading, since I like to use the 4 hour and the daily chart for my zones. If I'm going to do that, then, we've got, structure pretty much from about this area here down through these yellow lines. So unless I really see price come all the way down and pretty much clear out all of this stuff, these lows probably in here, I'm not sure which one will actually end up being the magic one where it breaks through, but essentially I'd probably want to see price get all the way through here, and then maybe have some kind of a retest, and then moves lower. In that case, I would consider this uptrend to be over and heading into a new downtrend. But all of this small price action on the lower time frames, not really too attractive, at least for me, in terms of going short. Okay, I would be more interested in this point to see this area here where price rejected off of this morning be kind of, like I said, a retail area, because you can see in the past, if we look to the left, you can see this area has acted as resistance many times here. Okay, I mean, you can go back and you can just see them all over here, in here, in here. Here it broke through it a little bit and came back. So you get the point. So until we come down and take out all of these zones in here, I'm still considering this to be in an uptrend, and all this is just going to be corrective. Even if it comes down, all the way back down, even to here, that's still just a correction on a higher time frame. Okay, so essentially for the euro dollar, I'm not going to be doing anything with this unless and until, again, it either takes out all these swings, or in which case, probably a bearish trend is setting up, or it just turns out to be a correction of some sort, and the price comes back up, takes out this high right here at this daily high right here, and then we keep going higher, in which case I would continue the uptrend. And you have to respect that this has been in an uptrend. We'll see if that holds. But as things stand right now, I'm not doing anything with the Euro USD. We already talked about the dollar Swiss and the Euro Swiss, which again is a closely correlated pair. Again, we see it right now heading down a little bit, because again, as we saw on the index chart, we saw a strengthening Swiss franc and a flat to maybe lightly weakening euro, and so of course we're seeing this pair trend down right now. This is the 4-hour chart, but again, from a standpoint of market structure, we have this, basically I consider where this yellow box is to be our structure level. So as long as price holds above this box, then certainly, you know, I have to still say this is in an uptrend. Now, this last high that was put in was not very impressive because it did take out this structure, but you can see it ended up closing at the same level as these previous highs right here. So that is a little bit concerning. So if price does come down and takes out this structure level, then I probably would consider that, you know, this is turned and will start going lower. And of course, I'll look at the currency indexes to confirm that. Now, there is another zone down here. This was actually the zone that was the swing low that was put in to make these highs up here. So if it does get through this area here, just keep in mind we do have this zone down here. So, but there certainly would be a run if it gets through here. There certainly would be a run probably back to at least these lows down here. But we'd have to see. So again, I'm kind of neutral on this right now, unless we get a quick reversal and, you know, these uptrends on the euro dollar and the euro Swiss, you know, we get some price action to resume them, then I probably won't be trading any of these today, and we'll just, you know, let them do what they're going to do today and see if they, you know, give us signs that we're heading for a new downtrend, or whether these are, again, are just the market's taking a little break and, you know, the uptrend will resume at some other point. All right, so that is the situation in those Forex pairs. Quick jump over to futures. So again, on natural gas, this my short position that I was making the video on last night, where I was waiting for it to hit this level, did hit my take profit earlier this morning on this candle. No, on this one right here, on this last 4-hour candle right here, hit my take profit. So I'm out of that, and you can see it has bounced off of this area. Okay, you can see right now we are bouncing off of that area, and so we'll see if we can get, you know, any follow through to the upside. Again, I'm not interested in taking this long until probably we take out this swing high right here. If we break through here, then prices probably will start going higher again. But for now, you know, I'm not doing anything with this. I do think it still could have a run back down to these lows here. So perhaps this move up will be corrective and we'll get some bearish price action to allow us to trade back down to here. But for now, I'm out of this trade. Like I said, I hit my TP at this previous support level, and I'm out of that trade now. So we'll see what happens. But basically, in between these two red lines right here, I'm not really interested in doing anything. I'm certainly not interested in doing anything long in between these two lines. And as far as going short, I would consider a short if on a shorter time frame I get some bearish price action, because again, if we get that, we'll probably see price work back towards this next support level down here. All right, crude oil. I had to switch over to the May contract. The April contract, as far as last trading day, has expired, so this is now the May contract. And we are pushing higher here, again on a higher time frame. You know, I would say we've got kind of this area sitting up here, but let's see what happens. I mean, but we are putting in higher highs and higher lows here for the last few days, and so I think that probably will continue, but I'll keep an eye on it just for, you know, for the purposes of seeing if we get this to roll over and start heading down again at some point. But I wouldn't be surprised again if we keep working higher, at least back towards this level here. All right, if we go to shorter time frames, like a 15-minute, you can see that, you know, potentially we're getting a lower high put in, and maybe we'll start heading lower. So I'm keeping an eye on this, because overall this trend is down. Even with these, even with this price action, I still look at this as pretty corrective, but we'll see, you know, what happens with this. If we get, again, some definitive price action that causes us to start heading down again, which maybe we have it right now, because again, we just put in this lower high right here after this run up, we've put in this lower high, and now it looks like price wants to continue to head down. Overall, we do still have a downtrend intact, and until we, in my opinion, until we take out this area, which was the last major swing before this low was put in. But you can see we did put in a higher low. I've talked about that before. We did put in this higher low way down here at the bottom. Okay, and we started moving, higher after that. So we'll have to just see what this does. There could be a potential short here, at least on a shorter time frame, and that could signal the end of this pullback. For you SMC traders here on the 4-hour chart, you could say that this is a fair value gap candle right here. All right, on this big bearish candle, right? This 3-candle pattern, this candle, then this big one, and then this one where we've got the wick of the first and the third candle not touching. So this is potentially a fair value gap, and we do have this where price seems to be reacting from right now, from that fair value area on a shorter time frame to head back down again. But I'm not sure if that's going to follow through, but right now it looks pretty good, so we'll see how that goes, whether this actually is the end of the correction and we're going to head back down. So we talked about natural gas. So here is copper. You can see I'm in a long on this right now. I basically, we're continuing to make higher highs, higher lows. We don't have any reference point on this in terms of, a price area higher up on the chart to kind of reach for. This is we're at contract highs right here. So we'll see here. You see I got into this long and it is pulling back now. I'm going to keep an eye on this to see if this is going to be, if we're going to just continue higher, pull back and go higher, or whether we're going to continue to pull back. If price gets back to my entry point here, I probably will consider just closing it at break even. I don't really have any desire to, even though it wouldn't be a big loss, this is only a single contract position. I don't really have any desire to take a loss on this, so I'm going to keep an eye on this. But it looked like, a good, at least short-term long to take, although it's a short time frame, which you guys know I'm not a huge fan of taking short time frame trades, but it is bullish on the higher time frame. So I felt like when it broke out of this consolidation here, that's why I had this trend line drawn. And as soon as I saw a price breaking above, that's where I got in. I did feel like that was a good place to jump in, but it could just be a blow off top, and now we just, that's it, and we start heading lower. But we'll see. We're certainly not at that point yet. And lastly, on the DAX, so the DAX did come up to these contract highs again during the London session, and early this morning you can see we did move up and revisit these contract highs up here on the 4-hour chart, and you can see obviously we're reacting from there, where prices now made multiple attempts to try to pop through that zone. It's been unable to do so, and you can see it's heading lower. So I do expect to see at least a predictable, reactionary pullback off of this contract high. Whether this is sustained or not, we'll see. Again, just because it's hit those highs doesn't mean it won't, pull back and then blast right through them and keep going higher. It very well could. Just, pull back here and then start moving through this level and go higher. Really from a 4-hour standpoint, this is safely in a bull trend until price, comes down and takes out, either this low or, these lows down here. So somewhere down in here, I'd have to see prices breach to, suggest that the longer term uptrend is over. But we technically do have a double top right here. And so you do have to keep that in mind, that it's a double top. It's also a contract high. And so naturally there's going to be selling reaction off of this area. It's just a matter of, how far it ends up going. So, if you wanted to trade it on a shorter time frame, you could look at, structure levels a little bit on short time frames. Like this is the 10-minute time frame. Maybe you could look for, if you went short from, like, say where it is now, you know, you could look for a trade maybe back down towards these lows or something like that. But just depends again what your time horizon is. So again, just keep it in mind, you know, we have a higher time frame double top, a contract high, and so like I said, you're naturally going to see some selling pressure off of these levels. And we'll just have to see if it holds, or if eventually, you know, the bulls take over and pop back through these highs and we go up and make a new high. Because there's no, you know, no guarantee it's going to stop at that contract high just because it's up there now. But you know, like I said, it is a contract high and a double top on the 4-hour chart. All right, so yeah, that's about it, guys. Not a heck of a lot going on. Certainly in Forex, is those pairs are in a little bit of a transition, I think, right now. We'll keep an eye on them, and you know, we'll see what happens with these futures, if we get anything in terms of, you know, potentially some short-term opportunity day trades on these could be setting up a counter trend, if you know, care to do such a thing. But in terms of the longer term trends, they're all intact unless, you know, we you know, again, off of a 4-hour chart, it's going to take a while for any of those, you know, longer term trends to, you know, really technically reverse themselves on the chart. So so they're in a little bit of you know, pullbacks for sure into these longer trends, and then, you know, we'll see if that's maintained or whether we eventually resume the trends that were intact. So, all right, guys, questions, comments, leave them down below. Appreciate you watching. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, take care.